Okay, so I did my project on Italy, which is formerly known as the Italian Republic. So the three stories that I'm going to be going over today, the first story is Italian Prime Minister threatens to resign over government infighting. And then a little background about this, the Italian inner political parties are fighting and kind of disputing after the last election, 2018, and the Prime Minister wants budget control. And then the Prime Minister Conte, his goal is to implement a better 5-year plan to restore the government. The second story is Italy struggles to avert EU isolation. So the government struggles with the European Union after they broke rules on public spending and they faced loss of European positions that they currently hold in alliances within the European Union. And the third story is Italian opposition party to submit no confidence motion against Salvini. So the Interior Minister of Italy, Salvini, has refused to answer questions about allegations of his party seeking Russian funding. The opposing party submitted a no confidence motion, which means they can vote to get him out because they believe he is no longer fit for the position. So, people involved in the first story is the Prime Minister, Conte. He says he doesn't belong to any political party and that he just wants what's best for Italy. And then the two political parties that are fighting, the first one is the League, and the leader is Matteo Salvini. And the League, in the last election in 2018, won 28 more seats. And then the next party is the Five Star Movement, and their leader, Luigi Di Maio. And last election, they won 14 more seats. So the parties are constantly bickering because after the European election for the Italian Parliament, the League and the Five Star Movement still can't settle their differences after the League won more seats. And then also kind of why the Prime Minister is kind of tired of this is he wants to continue only if he can implement his 5-year plan. Conte, the Prime Minister, is going to talk to the European Commission over the country's budget. So Italy is in a lot of debt and their deficit is already above Eurozone guidelines, and Italy is not doing much, so they have to revisit their country's financial plans. So the Prime Minister wants the next budget laws to address public finances. So the next one, Italy struggles to avert European Union isolation. So who's involved in this? The Italian government and the European Union. So the government is in a current battle with the European Commission because they broke European Union rules on public spending. Currently, the European Union is issuing disciplinary actions against Italy for breaking the rules, and some parties in Italy have pushed for a change in spending rules. So, like, the League has tried to put up into a vote to change the rules on how much a country can spend, and the European Union did not like that very much. And because they didn't follow the rules and they broke so many laws, they're faced with potentially losing top jobs. So currently, Italy holds 3 of the top jobs in the European Union. They hold the Foreign Policy Chief, President of European Union Parliament, and President of European Central Bank. And if they lose any of these, they can lose a lot of influence on voting, and a lot of things actually happen. So the government is faced with the possibility of further isolation in the European Union if they can't nominate a good candidate to be in Brussels. And currently, Rome has been given no influence over any matters relating to economic decisions. And if Italy cannot nominate someone to be a good commissioner, they won't have a lot of influence. Currently, a lot of the inner parties, especially the League, have been focusing a lot of their times on trying to get someone into the commission. And then the last story is Italian opposition parties to submit no confidence motion against Salvini. So who's involved? Italy's Democratic Party, Matteo Salvini, who is the leader of the League, a political party, is also the interior minister. And then Prime Minister Conte is also involved, and then Russian officials. So Salvini refused to come before Parliament and speak for the allegations made against him of supposed Russian funding for his party, the League. So a little background on how he kind of got in this situation. So Salvini aided a trip to Russia in which he reportedly met with Russian officials to discuss funneling millions of euros to the League via secret oil deal. Now, this is all allegations, but Salvini hasn't said anything about it, which makes him look pretty suspicious, which is why the Democratic Party called for a no confidence motion, meaning the government can vote someone out because they feel he is unfit to hold office any longer. Now, the Prime Minister came back and actually went and spoke for Salvini in front of their Senate, because apparently he has full confidence and believes that Salvini did nothing wrong, although he still has not answered or said anything about these allegations. And then the no confidence motion is unlikely to pass because it would cause the government to collapse. And that's the end of my stories.